Peace and blessings, world, and welcome to another edition of Fresh Perspective, where we give you a new look on today's hot topics. And right now, back to that NBA. So much going on in the NBA, so much to talk about, man. But before we get started, we're gonna go to the introductions. The great orator and tactician, Mr. DB. I like to call him the GOAT. How you doing, friend?
I'm good, man. We talking about basketball. I just want to tell my boy Kevin Durant, they on your head, and you better hope Steph got your back, cause you're gonna need somebody to hold you up, cause they coming for your head.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then we also have the young and talented Mr. Courtney Chappelle. We speaking about your sport, brother. How you doing?
All is well, brother. All is well. NBA season is upon us.
Yes, sir. So much to talk about. So I'm gonna let the panel start where they want to start. Oh yeah, before we get going, I am your host, Irvin Hawkins. Courtney Chappelle, what is the most intriguing thing to you so far?
The Minnesota Timberwolves having the possibility to take the Golden State Warriors.
Whoa, you think the baby Wolves ready for that?
Yeah, they could take them seven. They ain't gonna win, but they could take them seven.
Hmm. Okay. D Burts, what's on your mind about the NBA?
Well, to comment on that, I was actually thinking about that earlier today, and I'm going through. Everybody think that the Houston Rockets are going to be able to compete with the Golden State Warriors because they could just shoot the threes and shoot the three ball pretty well. But I really think that from a matchup perspective, the team that's going to give them some problems if they see them is going to be Minnesota Timberwolves because whenever we get through, they have no answer for Karl Anthony Towns. None.
Yeah.
Zaza, Draymond, Jordan Bell, JaVale McGee gonna get the work. The only thing that scares me about Minnesota is that the best shooter on the team is Karl Anthony Towns. So that means he's not gonna be down low all game long dominating. That's what scares me about them. But I think they got a solid team.
Okay, solid team, and you always say coaching matters. They do have a solid coach as
Oh,
well.
man, Thibodeau is one of the best.
Yes,
I
indeed.
think Courtney and Irvin is going to appreciate this next statement. Thibodeau is one of the best. Ask Doc Rivers.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, one thing I like to talk about, man, Cleveland is stacked, top to bottom, bottom to top. LeBron has no excuse. It's a high power league this year, but it's more than enough talent on Cleveland. Like you said earlier, they got Big Bro, they got Derrick Rose, who if he shows 80% of what he used to be, is going to be a monster for this team. How do y'all feel about Cleveland and their prospects to not? Well, I think
Just
it's a
who
cakewalk
you,
for them to
who
get
you
back
want
to
to
the
ask first?
finals.
Me or Court? Who you asking first? Me or Court?
Hey man, you jumped in, so you got the energy for it. Talk to me
Oh
about them
my God! I don't know
Cavaliers.
what Court got to say about this, but I got a lot to say. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's gonna hurt when Kyrie come to town and cook every guard that LeBron picked up. All of them will get to work. It's gonna be pick your poison. D Wade, you want some of this? Ha ha! Lay machine. Isaiah, you better not come out here. What's my boy named Derrick Rose? Oh my God! But you used to be me. That's what he gonna say when he lay him up. But all jokes aside, LeBron James has did it again. He has built a roster full of old veterans, and he's not mixed that with enough young talent to get him over the hump when he faces a young team. Because at the end of the day, he still has to realize that in order for him to be a champion, they need him to score the ball. I don't care anything about those 7 assists a game. I don't care anything about that 7 rebounds a game. He's going to go down as one of the best scorers in the game, and he needs to score the ball in the fourth quarter, in money time, in money situation, in order for him to be a champion again. And if he does not do that, he will not win. I don't care who's on his roster.
Okay. Y'all listening to Fresh Perspective. Y'all tuned in, and we talking about the NBA right now. Mr. Young Talented, come get some of these Cavaliers.
The whole Cleveland Cavaliers team is trash, and they will not make it to the playoffs healthy. They
What?
all gonna be. I
Go a
think
little
Giannis
deeper
gonna
on
play.
that.
Isaiah Thomas going to be hurt. Derrick Rose. They are all 1 Euro step away from injury. I don't know what y'all see. Y'all count on Jeff Green, always injured or failure. You count on Derrick Rose, always you. You count on Isaiah Thomas, he got a bad hip. Outside of LeBron James, Dwayne Wade needs, we know, Dwayne needs some rest, and if he's there, he's a problem. But can you count on his health at this point? You don't. Outside of LeBron James, whose health you can count on. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, everybody's season go as according, and Isaiah doesn't come back 100%, which after having a hip issue, you can expect him not to be 100%. Who on that team going to help anybody? Oh, and just another thing, for all you guys and this Cleveland shit and, what was it? LeBron James makes people better. How well did he? Oh, he made J.R. Smith a better player. He lost his starting spot already. Fucking season ain't even begun and he lost his starting spot.
I mean, this is D Wade we talking about. This is D Wade we talking about. Come on.
I don't give a flying fuck who we talking about. He been in the finals 3 years in a row. He lost his starting spot before the end of the preseason.
Now, JR, this is your boy now. Mr. New Yorker, Mr. Joint that Carmelo's hip throughout his career.
Like that. JR is more my boy than
JR is the first guy. He ain't never been my guy.
I will say this, just to piggyback on what we're talking about Cleveland. I really think the situation is going to come down to coaching, and I think that Tyronn Lue is going to get exposed this season because he still has to put the right lineups with the right people and run the right system in order for this team to be successful versus the teams that they want to be successful against. They're not worried about teams of the Eastern Conference. They're gonna play their best against the teams like Minnesota. They should get smoked. They're gonna play their best against the Spurs. They may win 1 out of 3. Teams like that. That's what they're gonna measure themselves up against. They're not worried about anybody in the Eastern Conference.
Okay, well, speaking about lineups, well, hold on, Courtney, real quick. Speaking about lineups, speaking about coaching. Now, Courtney, I want you to get some of this because, you have been, behind Melo his whole career. Melo to OKC, what do you think that lineup is going to look like? How do you think Brooks is going to coach this team and put them in position?
You mean Billy Donovan?
Well, Brooks ain't.
Oh, Billy Donovan.
It's Donovan, but I mean, he's going to start.
Yeah, Brooks is your
He's going to start at the 4, but none of this matters. I don't care what that roster has. I don't care who's on that team. Though I like the roster and I like the team. If Russell Westbrook does not have a post game and doesn't show it to you within the first 2 weeks, you can expect them to lose within the second round.
You said if Russell doesn't have a post game?
If Russell has not developed the post, you can expect them to lose by the second round.
Hulk, Court, if you would allow me to go deeper on that, Hulk, just for those who don't understand what Courtney is saying. The problem with the Oklahoma City Thunder has been Russell Westbrook is not a willing passer. He shoots too much in volume. If he posts up, he's going to be able to get the shots that he wants, and because he's killing that guy that's guarding him so much, he's going to get the double team that he wants, which gives the offense a better chance to get higher percentage of shots. Am I wrong?
Not at all. Yeah. But you missed one key point. If he posts up, he won't have to use as much energy diving to the rim so much, so that he can reserve some of that for the fourth quarter.
And he can also reserve some of that defensively. Because to me last year, his defense lacked. Because he had to do so much in other aspects that he did not play the tenacious defense that I've seen.
If he go in a post against the Warriors, they'll be in foul trouble.
Right.
Okay, but you mentioned that he's not a willing passer. Did he lead the league in assists last year?
No, James Harden did.
Okay, was he top 5? He's not a willing passer.
He was second, but we all saw Russ guard will get 10 assists and that be it. When Russell is dialed in and he's seeing the floor correctly, that's when he's getting up to 15, 16, 17 assists a game. That's when he's seeing the floor.
Okay.
His assist came from mainly I get stuck, I drive real hard to the rack, 3 people come on me, dump it off, boom time. It really wasn't running the floor of the offense and diming people out. Hopefully,
He'll lead the league in triple doubles this year. It'll just be easier, and he'll use less energy if he uses teammates properly.
right.
Okay.
They're still gonna have to make.
But I
they're
still
gonna have
personally
to
think that
trade.
after watching them play the last couple preseason games, I still think that a tweakage of the system that they're running needs to be critiqued in order for them to maximize their offensive output. Right now, they're just coming off a couple down screens and they're shooting jump shots. Though Paul George and Melo can shoot the ball, I would rather see them get more looks off the movement of the offense opposed to just 2 down screens pop out. I can hit a shot, so I shoot it. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. I would like to see them get more movement and things of that nature. Because right now, if you look at the preseason, Paul George is all he doing is shooting jump shots. He's not even catching the ball on the move, catching the ball on different spots. He just pretty much labeled as a jump shooter. And that's not going to be what they need from him in order to get it done. But hey, you play 82 games for a reason, and I think they can figure it out. I hope they figure it out.
Okay, and like you say,
Coaching
matters.
Of course.
They got to make a
Coaching
trade.
matters, man. Go ahead, get some more.
Coaching matters.
Because I was about to go to another team.
They got to make a trade. They still need bench play. That's the issue with Oklahoma.
They do need bench play. I really think they need a floor general. I like Ray Felton. You know, Ray Felton is a solid guard, always been.
They got guards. They don't need guards. They need forwards. They got Terrence Ferguson. They got Raymond Felton. They need a 3 or 4 or 5. They need one more on that bench to help them take it to another level when one of them is out. They're not going to play a lot with Russell and Melo at the same time. It's going to be a lot of ISO switch or run the offense outside of those 3 guys until you get to the 4th quarter. Again, Russell Westbrook, whether they win or lose by the elevation in his offensive repertoire.
Okay, and you know, one question I got to get in before we end this show. A lot of teams have reloaded. I mean, we're about to see some serious fireworks. And DB, you say this all the time. Coaching matters. And especially in the NBA, we see that a whole lot, man. We see super talented teams get out-coached. I think we can all agree that Pop is one of the best, if not the best. But they haven't made, you know, any of those really, really power moves in terms of, you know, creating these teams to go up against these super teams. So how do you feel? Do you feel like the league is going to start passing the Spurs? Or you think
I don't necessarily think the league is going to start passing the Spurs just because they have done a great job of implementing players that fit their system.
Trash.
They got young guards. They got Mr. Simmons, and they're gonna be able to play some. They're gonna be able to win some games. They're gonna be able to win some games just because of the style of play they playing. But as far as seeing them as a legitimate threat, no, they will have to make a move in order to be. Because right now, let's just be clear. Tony Parker was the one that, in my opinion, took them over the top. When Tony Parker was able to dominate ball games alone, you know, we know what the big man do. He's one of the best of all time. He gonna hold his down. But when they used to get in the playoffs and Tony Parker was able to dominate the game on the perimeter and Tim Duncan cook on the inside, that was a recipe for disaster. And LeBron know what it looked like firsthand. A couple times. He seen what Tony looked like a couple times. But I think that's the one thing that the Spurs are missing, that they don't have the guard play to compete with the Dame Lillards, the Russ guards, the Steph Currys, even the young boys that's coming up. De'Aaron Fox is not going to put Lonzo in there because he's not going to score the ball like these young guards are going to score the ball. And I'm sure I'm missing a guard. Mike Conley Jr. gave him fits in the postseason because that series should have been over, but Mike Conley Jr. kept that a series. So I think that's what the Spurs are going to have to do. I would like to personally see them get a guard like Chris Paul or Derrick Rose or someone of that nature just to be relevant in that position because right now they're not.
Simmons ain't there no more, and San Antonio is done. Dead. DED dead. I don't care how much y'all like them, how good y'all think they are. They done. They're going to win 50-plus games. They're going to get in the playoffs, and they're going to get their ass put out. Because they done. Because number 21 is gone. And that's it. Tony Parker damn near 40 in real life. Ginobili old as shit. Kawhi can't do it by himself. Danny Green going to give you but so much. Patty Mills came in the league at 30. So he about 35 now. And they're about DeJounte Murray. I don't care about none of them. They done.
You missing?
What about Aldridge?
Mr. Don't Show
trash can. He's a dumpster. A trash compactor. How many different ways can you explain a trash can to one person? Wherever you want to put him, he's there.
Oh man,
I've never been a huge fan of LaMarcus Aldridge, and
and I don't care. Hold on. And I don't care about him and Pop having a conversation, a heart to heart, about what he feels or how he's disappointed. He's been a trash can. I don't care about his heart to heart. He should have had a heart to heart with God and asked him to bless him with better skills because he's a trash can. So
what he should have did, was went and seen the Wizard and got some heart. That's what he should have did.
He didn't do that.
Wow, y'all putting that man's heart on display. LaMarcus, don't go out like that.
I'm gonna tell you something too, Hawk. Oh, don't run. Your boy John Wall been doing a lot of talking this offseason, and that 23-10 was really cute. But he couldn't beat Isaiah Thomas. He better come on with it, because there's no reason.
And where he go?
There's no reason why John Wall shouldn't be in the Eastern Conference Finals waiting on LeBron.
You know what? I can't even disagree with you, my brother, because I feel like it's time for John Wall to step up and be a superstar as well. If him and Bradley Beal don't become superstars, we're going to get passed. We're going to get passed by as well,
man,
even worse than what we were.
Put Bradley in this thing. No, this is all about Jonathan. Don't put BB in this. This ain't BB and CC Winans. No, this is John Wall.
Oh man, it's what I live for.
John Wall last year averaged 23 points, 10 assists per game, shooting 45% from the field. But when it was time in Game 7, he did not get it done for the Washington Wizards.
But you know what?
He ain't gonna get it done this year.
But you know who gets it done? The Fresh Perspective team. We get it done on a consistent basis, man. And it's coming up to our final perspective. Young talent, what's your final perspective on this NBA? What you excited about? Talk to me.
I had a different final perspective because I didn't get to let y'all know. Now my final perspective is John Wall is a trash can too. He's on his way to deplete it too. And I don't care about y'all considering him a great. He lost to Isaiah Thomas. He getting ready to lose to Kyrie Irving. And y'all might as well go ahead and give it up. If y'all was smart, y'all would trade his ass and get some value and a first-round pickup out of his ass because he not finna do nothing for Washington. He been there, 7 years? You guys have gone all of nowhere. I don't care about two players. He's done as much as Gilbert Arenas. Who gives a fuck? Okay? You guys are done. It's over. Let it go. Trade him and get some value because he's done as much as Gilbert Arenas, Antoine Jameson, and Larry Hughes. And he's supposed to be talented enough to be better than all three of their ass put together. So, in hindsight, you guys aren't going to win shit. Milwaukee better than y'all already.
Woo! Greek feet. Giannis.
Okay. Great orator and tactician. What's your final perspective?
Hey, man, I got a couple things. One, shout out to Court for just being himself. That's my guy. But let's talk about it. It's a lot of teams out there that everybody's hyping up. 76ers is one. Los Angeles Lakers is one. Miami Heat is one. Stop hyping these teams up. They're not going to do nothing but make you upset. They are this year's versions of the Atlanta Hawks. They're going to make the playoffs and going to be in the way. Waste of a series. But to bring this thing back home, though, I'm very interested to see how Kevin Durant responds to being the hunted. I'm really anxious to see how Russell Westbrook embraces the role of actually being respected around the league as the MVP. and I'm anxious to see how he returns to the floor and has he took the step in leading the troops to victory opposed to just willing his team to victory. I'm really anxious to see that. I'm also anxious to see Kyrie Irving in a system, in a new offense where he is able to get the ball in certain spots and not just have to work hard for all his buckets. I'm anxious to see him become the point guard that he wants to become because he's going to have his opportunities to do so. I'm also anxious to see the return of Derrick Rose and D Wade because we know LeBron got a LeBron yak. They're going to be ready to go. And they're going to be doing some amazing stuff. We might see D Rose drive baseline first game of the year and just monkey dunk. And we ain't seen that in 5 years. And I'm looking forward to see Dwight Howard miss more free throws. That's what he's going to do. And I'm also looking forward to seeing Steph Curry put the field guard back into the NBA for all those who are disrespecting what he can do on that floor.
Okay, everybody, you are listening to Fresh Perspective, and we just gave you a wonderful take on the NBA. What we're looking forward to. I hope you guys are excited because this is going to be, personally, I feel like this is going to be one of the better NBA seasons in the past couple of years. Teams are locked and loaded, and they're ready to go.
Can I give you one more thing? Can I give you one
more, and then we gotta go.
Look here, bro. I forgot about this. I know I got a little long-winded people, but I got to tell y'all one more thing. The NBA is out here trying to stop the people from boycotting, but they are saving face by changing the format of the All-Star game. Who are you people fooling? You don't put all the talent in the West, so you need to even things out in the East. And we all know that the protests in the NFL done shook up the whole world, and you cannot have the NBA representing the world because this is a world game, and you don't want the world to see the ugly truth of what's going on in America. NBA, I'm looking for you guys as the players to continue to step up, protest, and do what you have to do to get that message out.
Stop. Irv getting ready to close the show, everybody. And I'm going to let y'all know what D-Bird just said. They ain't finna protest, so he might as well get over that shit and then go on the last thing he said prior to we closing the show. If D-Rose drives baseline and monkey dunks on the first play of his career on the Cavs, that nigga will miss the rest of the entire NBA season. I promise. Look it right here. He will miss the entire season. He monkey dunks. You will not see him like a fucking floor.
Oh man, Fresh Perspective, man. I these two guys, man. I love these guys. They're my brothers. Peace and blessings, world. Look, you just sparked some information for another show, DB. But this one here is in the books. So listen, if this is your first time seeing our show, make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe and please comment. We would love to hear from you guys. Peace and blessings.